And this is also the reason why my mom called me one day and said, Kristen, I really think you should tone down the language. And I said, this was like when I first started really putting myself out there. I said, I'm dropping the F-bomb all the time. And she said, some of my coworkers follow you because of your pillows. And I said, Mom, I love you, but listen, this is my thing. And people, if they don't like it, then they can unfollow me. And she wrote back, I can respect that. And I was like, all right, thanks, Mom.
I love that. I had almost the same conversation with my dad.
You did?
And he's so, my dad is I love my dad. He's so nice. And he uses bad language. We do together as a family, but he's still of the old school thought of like, publicly, I'm going out here dropping F-bombs and whatever. It's probably the same as what your mom is thinking. And like, maybe what if that caused something negative to happen with my business or whatever? And I'm like, no, Dad, you don't understand. If you were on social media, you would understand. It's fine.
Exactly. I know. Well, my mom comes from the total opposite, like you said, but she's in the banking, like corporate world. So she's very like suit and heels and very like opposite in that sense for me. So she's always like, and she swears, don't get me wrong, but just there's a difference between professional and not. So, and then that's what I was trying to tell her. I said, that's just like my thing. And people are either really pulled in and attracted by it because they can relate, or they're like, this chick's not for me. And that's fine too. So going back to the Facebook group, I feel like, being that genuine and honest with yourself and who you really are, and, what boundaries are okay with you, and sharing that with your people, you really are able to attract the right people and repel the wrong people. Because then what happens is, and Creative as a Mother is not a huge Facebook group. I mean, it's not, but it's growing every day. But I like that aspect of it. And that's something that I do get worried about, is like losing that feel of it being that like tight knit group, as it does grow, which so far we haven't had that problem yet. So, but I don't expect that to be the case.
No. And what's funny is that you say it's not a huge group, because I know there's always going to be humongous Facebook groups, but it has gotten pretty huge compared to, because I mean, I'm pretty sure I was one of the people at the very, very beginning, and there were not near as many people as there are now. So it has grown, but I think you're right. It's good. It's like a gradual growth, right?
Yeah. I'd rather that, like I said, that's why, like, it's very easy to put paid Facebook ads out there. I have done it, not necessarily for my Facebook group, but for my, other courses and businesses and that aspect of it. But I do have this sense of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Sense of like responsibility to all of the members in this group to keep it centered and focused for where it's at, because I think that is what sets it apart from other Facebook groups. And yeah, I do like that aspect about it.
Right. I agree. Okay. So in my opinion, and probably in a lot of the members of Creative as a Mother's opinion, really one of the most special things is that we as members have formed relationships with other members, like real ones. I mean, clearly, with you. And then I also have, I mean, I've got some people's phone numbers, for God's sake. Like we've shifted from social media friends to what's your number, girl? And I even met one member, Colleen, in person. So it's just so special. Like it truly means a lot that people have made friends and great business connections as well. So I don't know, like, how do you think that has happened? It's so special. How do you think you've been able to nurture it to where people feel like they can form these special relationships with each other, just that started in a Facebook group?
Yeah. Oh, you just made my whole life in like one little paragraph.
I mean that. Like, it's super special to me. I'm not joking. I mean it.
Oh, thank you, Brittany. That makes me so excited. And I know, and it's funny because this has happened to quite a few of the women in the group. And I just think it's like I can't even tell you. It like makes me like pitter patter. But I do think that a lot of it has to do with, like I had said earlier, putting out your true self, repelling the right people and repelling the wrong people and pulling in the right people. But I do also think that it's very important when you have Facebook groups to encourage like silly banter, like lighthearted. As much, it's very, very important to provide value and do all of that stuff. That's why you have the group, is to kind of, you know, have a greater picture of either selling them a product or service or something along those lines. But in order to encourage relationships, it's really important to get people to connect on something that they wouldn't necessarily think that they could connect on. Like, so, you know, for example, like maybe you and Colleen, you know, maybe you never knew that you had, you know, you had the same phone when you were 14 years old. I don't know what I'm saying, but you know what I mean? And just
Right.
being like, oh girl, I had that too. And then it just, you know, that's how relationships blossom. And I also think it's really important to kind of connect women that you know will work well together. I have referred a lot of women. I've been the middleman of a lot of like business relationships, like someone that has come to me for a problem that I don't necessarily feel comfortable enough saying like, this is what you need to do. But dude, I have got this friend who, she knows her shit, and here's her phone number, call her. She's so cool. You're going to love her. And then that's it. And then it's like the next thing you know, it just is the first step in a great business relationship.
Right. You're a good connector.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, you know, it's even when I was doing hair, it's funny because it's just all the same. It's just all like, you know, making women feel good about themselves enough to put themselves out there. And I think that's what like the core of it is like a lot of people are scared to reach out to other women on social media, or they don't really realize that they could have, you know, real relationships or real friendships, like, you know, like I do in California and Oregon. I mean, people that I speak to legitimately a few times a week that we never would have connected if I never, you know, had the confidence to take the first step to put myself out there. And I think a lot of women just need that little shove, you know?
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm wondering also like I'm sure you how do I say this? I have notes, but I'm just chatting. How I'm sure you've witnessed like basically stuff probably, right? Like where relationships have formed or moments in the group, comments back and forth on a post. Like, can you like have you had those kind of moments where you're witnessing things happening between members of Creative as a Mother that you're like, wow, this is amazing, or it makes you feel emotional or something because you see two women helping each other out or whatever?
Oh my gosh, are you kidding? Like every time I read through a thread, it's like it literally makes me like emotional, like choked up feeling, because I mean, the thing that I love, and like I already mentioned it, but I'm saying I love about this group is that it is so like people feel that they can just totally be themselves and say how they really feel without judgment being passed on them. So like I have women who write, you know, posts in there that they're battling depression at the moment because of certain circumstances, or they need help with X, Y, and Z, or, you know, they're struggling with this with their child. Can someone help them with that? And it's just like, I read through and I see, and the thing that it makes me feel so good is that not only do they feel comfortable in reaching out in this group, this community that like I kind of like somehow miraculously got together, but then everyone coming to her aid and her rescue, and listen, here's my number, call me, like let's do this, like and they all just like are there to lift up no matter what. And it's like, it's just so overwhelming. It's like, it's just like a feeling I wish I could bottle up and like just carry with me everywhere.
Right. It's got to be an amazing feeling. I've witnessed some of those myself just as a member, some of the moments, and been a part of some of them. And it's just, you're right. It's crazy. It's an amazing feeling. And I can't imagine being you knowing that you put it all together.
Yeah, it's fun. It is. It's really fun. I love all of the women in that group. They really are amazing. They make, you know, you guys all make the community. It's like, it's just great.
And I don't even know how I qualified in the beginning because I don't make shit with my hands. I make things with my mind.
Right.
Because at the beginning, a lot of the gals were actually
handmade
things like you. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know how to let me into here, but I'm going to come. I mean, my kids' art projects are proof. Okay. So I want to know if I can ask you the difference between Creative as a Mother and Creative as a Mother Up Leveled, because it's two different things. Yeah, it's two different
Yes.
groups on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So Creative as a Mother is my free Facebook community. That's where everything kind of originates, and you can find the most amazing, supportive women there. CAMU also has a Facebook group. It's a way smaller group. I'm in the beta stages of it. So I launched this membership program. It's called Creative as a Mother Up Leveled. But we basically focus on, in Creative as a Mother Up Leveled is growing your business via social media, being productive, not wasting time, how to take time for yourself and just be the best version of yourself and be present in your life. And just working that muscle every single day, because it is very difficult to wake up every day and say, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to work out, I'm going to take care of my kids, I'm going to be happy, I'm going to build my business, and I'm going to do all of these things. So it's very difficult to stay on task. And so that's what CAMU helps with. And I coach the girls every month. We have coaching calls and all sorts of fun stuff happening. So that's more Creative as a Mother Up Leveled, is the monthly online membership community.